It's interesting to me though when people feel like they feel like belief in general is stupid. There's two evolutionary biologists I follow, and they tell the story that they went to somewhere, I think in Africa. They were doing biology work, field work, and they were sitting down at the supper table, and it sort of came up that they didn't believe in God. It sort of just came up in conversation, and the people, like up until this point, the people were really friendly, sharing their food, and it was like they were part of the family. And then all of a sudden, it was like this dark cloud came over, and everyone was very timid. And someone basically asked, well, if you don't believe in God, how do you stay moral? How do you be good if you don't believe in God? And in hearing this biologist talk quite a bit, I think what I've come to realize is that it's not that he didn't believe in anything. In fact, he says quite clearly, he's coming at this from a biological perspective. So he says, he put it beautifully to me. He said, long term, there's no meaning to this, because we know protons are going to break down, electrons are going to break down, everything's going to fall apart, the universe is going to disintegrate. We know that. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that there's not a peripheral or an immediate meaning to life. And his meaning was that, and this is very much Stoic in many ways, is that the immediate meaning to life is to create a world where as many people can enjoy the beautiful aspect and the privilege of life that we have as we have it right now. And so it's not that he didn't believe in anything, because he believed in that. Because I think if you don't believe in anything, you're a nihilist. And mm-hmm. I think that's a very, very scary position to find yourself in. Anyone that's a real nihilist, I meet these people online every now and then, and they are just, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way, but they're just very unpleasant. Let's say they're mm-hmm. very unpleasant. They're very rude. They're very you can tell they just don't care. They don't care about other people. They don't care about presenting their ideas in a respectful way. And so it's interesting to me when people say, if you believe in anything, you're stupid. It's like, mm-hmm. You better damn well believe in something.
Because the people who say that do believe in something. They just they never even looked at their own assumptions. And again, mm-hmm. This is when we look at the difference over time. In 300 years ago, people who believed in God weren't challenged. They didn't have to defend their position. Yeah. Now, I want to ask you today, if you go to college and go out into society as an agnostic or an atheist, who's going to challenge you? Nobody. You go through life unchallenged. Your belief system is completely unchallenged. In fact, you don't even realize you have a belief system, but they do. An atheist has a belief system. They just don't realize that they are holding on to a worldview that's based upon some assumptions, unprovable assumptions that that science cannot prove. I mean, the most basic of them is, I'm sitting here having a conversation over the internet with another person. That's what it appears to be. Can I prove that you're really there? Can I prove that there's anything beyond what's going on inside my brain? And the answer is no. That's Descartes' famous, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. But ultimately, that's the only thing I can prove, is that I have thoughts going on in my head, therefore I exist. Whether a real world out there exists or not, I can't prove. And that's just the beginning of the idea of, Hume. Some people want to say, in fact, one of the famous modern Stoics tries to argue that, Hume is one of a double punch that defeated the concept of a providential cosmos. Well, Hume also argued against the idea of predictability. He says you can drop a ball 1,000,000 times and it's going to hit the ground. But before you drop the ball the 1,000,001 first time, you can't be certain it's going to hit the ground. Mm-hmm. The rules of the universe could change at any moment. We don't know. You can't prove it logically. You can't prove it scientifically. So people who are atheists think about this. An atheist, a true atheist, genuinely believes that what do we have? Let's round it off to 15 billion years ago. A Big Bang occurred, Now, we have no concept of what happened before the Big Bang, or what caused the Big Bang, or what the Big Bang is comprised of. You know, the famous physicist Lawrence Krauss calls it a universe from nothing, you know, which is a ridiculous concept. And when you read his book and when you watch his YouTube videos and you get him to describe what nothing is, what is nothing? Oh, well, nothing is this bubbling, boiling field of quantum particles that pop in and out of existence and have the potential to create the known universe. Well, that's a that's a very interesting concept of nothing, right? Well, where did this field come from? So anyway, I believe, you know, to say that you're an atheist and you believe that there's no rationality in the universe, you are in essence arguing that all of this occurred by chance, even our human consciousness. And you can't prove that. You can't even come close to proving that. And in fact, very brilliant scientists have deduced that there is not enough time from the Big Bang until now. There not enough time exists to have the combinations of amino acids to create even basic proteins, which is why you end up with things like concepts of Francis Crick, one of the inventors, but co-discoverers of DNA. When confronted with this, that there's not enough time, well, guess what his answer was? Panspermia. Panspermia is the idea that, the Earth was bombarded by meteors that brought some of those particles.
Right.
Okay, well, all you did is you moved it back a step. So all these things were created someplace else. The point is that the people who say, well, yeah, I don't have any beliefs, I base everything on science. No, you don't. You've been lied to, and you were told that by your professors and by the books you've read, but you don't. And unfortunately, you live in a society where those beliefs are never challenged.
Yeah.
Never challenged. A Christian, a religious person has their beliefs challenged every single day.
Exactly. And I think I know I mentioned to you personally, I think it's incredibly arrogant for anyone to criticize or call anyone stupid that they believe in a God or believe in something.